Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I have no clue what's going on with the text messages because I did not receive my text message at all. And then before I get started, lastly, George, well, I can see on the screen that you should be able to see where it says AppSumo.
Yes, I see
Okay.
it.
All right. Well, we're going to talk today about Zoom and some of the tips and tricks that can help you, generate more life insurance sales. And before we get started, though, what I do want to let everybody know, there's a website that I use a lot that's called AppSumo, AppSumo. And no matter what software, what platform you use for anything, this is where you can find usually the same brand or the same platform, especially the same quality for a lot less. And so I use a lot of texting applications. And the one that I've used forever, of course, is one called Mobile Text Alerts. I recently came here because somebody told me about Shorty, and I had never heard of it. And so what Shorty is, now you can come in here and look at all this stuff, but what's really unique about this is that most, not all, but the vast majority of the stuff that you can buy here is you pay once and use forever. And so what I did, I came in here because they told me about Shorty SMS. And so what it's called, what it's sold as is a replacement for Mobile Text Alerts, by name, Mobile Text Alerts. Mobile Text Alerts is a plan that we pay, and we pay every month. Plus, you get to pay for the credits or the number of text messages you send out. With Shorty SMS, it's the same platform basically, except here you only pay a one-time fee of either $19, $29, or $49. And the difference being, well, you can kind of do your own research here. I went with the tier 2. That's all I need for $29. And all you need is to connect your what's called your phone number, if you would, that you purchase separately, and you connect it here. And that's basically it. It's really cool. I'm switching everything over to this one because I don't need to pay it on a monthly basis. So even if you don't send a lot of text messages, but you want to do group texting, this is a great way to do it for the simple fact that here you only pay one time and you don't have to be paying a monthly fee. It uses what's called the API, and it works extremely well. And so that's just one of the samples that I've used here, and it gives you a full rundown. So just go to appsumo.com like you see on the screen, look for Shorty SMS or whatever you need. Now you do need to have a Twilio account. Twilio charges you 0.006 cents for every text message. So that's incredibly cheap. So anyways, go to appsumo.com. I'm actually clicking on it right now. And you can just scroll through the many apps that you can see here, which is simply incredible. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the rest of the presentation. Just one last check. George, you can see the PowerPoint, yellow?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to go over a few things, and ironically, the person that asked me to hold this training is not here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just go over a few short, what I call tips and tricks, especially with the newest rollout of the updated version of Zoom that you need to be aware of so that you can sell more life insurance. And when I say sell more life insurance, remember, when we go to virtual sales, we lose a lot of the human elements. There's a lot of things you can do in person that will let you get away with not knowing everything there is to know or not being a true professional just by being liked and related to. But when we go to Zoom or virtual sales, all of those advantages go away and you're left with the hardest thing of all, which is looking your best by making sure you understand the basics of Zoom. I had 2 people this past week tell me that they were having problems because they were playing videos for their clients, but their clients couldn't hear the video. And so what I was telling him is, remember I told you last time, you got to check off the share audio box, little box. They had no clue what I was talking about. We had another person that was committing identity theft because they kept signing everything for their clients because they didn't know how to do it remotely. And I'm going to show you that here as well. So let's get right to it. So you stay within compliance and you at the same time sell more life insurance by making up with technology what we lose when we are no longer in front of each other. And I call it the human factor that gets erased. So let's get started. It's super short. It's only 5 slides. So don't blink. First of all, for all of you that are members of the Champions Club, you were on or you were invited to the event this past week. I've had people ask me questions in regards to the restricted stock plan that FFS is rolling out. They also send that an email with an email address that you can actually forward all of your questions to, and then they're going to be releasing. But I spoke with Vince, but what I wanted to do is I told him and I promised him that not only was I going to give him my thoughts, but also those of the team. I know that George, I spoke with him about this, and because we have mostly people that are part of this club right now, does anybody want to share anything with me right now? I mean, good, bad, or ugly, that I can go ahead and forward to Vince?
Hi, Javier, it's
ahead.
Kathy. I was on that call. I think it's just still, to me, it just seems like it's still monopoly money. I mean, there's no IPO, there's no, it's just exchanging one for the other.
Pretty much. And I mean, the key thing is that, you know, it's not publicly traded. You understand? And you got to swing it, you got to run it by them before you sell. They have to approve this. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're absolutely right. But that's why I'm asking you. I just need, I don't want to go back to him with just my thoughts, because I mean, it's one of those webinars that I had more questions at the end than I did in the beginning, to be honest with you. And it left me asking myself, what happened? I mean, well, what the hell is this? I mean, I don't get it. You know, that kind of a thing. And so that's what I'm asking for your thoughts. Is I don't want to give just my thoughts, but if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. There's nothing wrong with that. So thank you so much for that, Kathy. All right.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm here. I think you and I spoke intensively about it, but yeah, just a lot of vagueness about the plan and, you know, how it's going to benefit us. We did talk about the vesting period on there, which I don't know if you got an answer yet on that, but I have a lot of questions on that for people that, especially people that have been with FFS for a while, as far as how the vesting time period is going to affect them, or if it affects them.
Got it.
And then the other question,
the
other question is, how are the shares being transitioned? If it's going to be an equal transition, or is it going to be something where, you know, one equity share is worth, you know, or 10 equity shares is worth one, you know, things like that.
Perfect. Okay. And I'm just waiting to give people time on my team to give me their feedback, because I'm like I'm telling you, once I hear back from them and I voice your concerns, that's it. Because I don't want to dwell on it too much, because you've heard me say this a million times. I really don't bank on anything unless I can hold it and it's tangible to me. And so I don't want it to be a distraction for me, for you, or anybody else. But if no one has questions, nobody speaks up, please don't be the one that calls me during the week. Hey, I want to talk to you about, look, if you're on the call, bring it up right now. Otherwise, you know, I'm assuming you're going to take it up directly with them. I'm just trying to get some solid answers, because I have more questions than I did at the beginning of the damn webinar, to be honest with you. I don't think it accomplished anything other than confuse the hell out of people. And I'm going to get an answer for everybody here as well. So, all right, cool. I'll get back to, you know, obviously those two of you that spoke up right now in regards to your concerns, because they're very legitimate concerns. So, all right, let's continue. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, and what we're going to really get into, is the new platform, if you would, that they have rolled out under the Zoom banner. Now, I've spoken with people, because when people log into Zoom, they assume that the dashboard, which is what we're going to see here in just 1 second, is Zoom, and that's not true. Whenever you log into Zoom and you download the actual Zoom app, or the Zoom, as the old people call it, program, onto your computer, you will have a small little box that you see on the screen. Now, you can maximize it, which is what I did, made it full screen, but you can also just keep it small. It's usually very small. And as long as you leave this one open, it notifies you, hey, your meeting is, your webinar is in 5 minutes. It's pretty cool. So I always tell people, once you download and you launch Zoom, when the little box opens up, minimize it, let it sit there, and leave it alone. It will remind you. It will literally remind you, like right there, you can see no upcoming meetings today. And again, even if you minimize it to the point where you cannot even see it, it will go ahead, it will notify you by a little bubble that your meeting's starting. You click on it and it launches it. It's pretty cool. And so this is the true Zoom app on your computer, on your laptop, on your iPad, or whatever. It's not the actual dashboard. Now, once you actually launch a meeting, you click on new meeting or whatever the case might be, then it will launch the whole thing. But what I wanted to make sure you understood today is that one of the big rollouts from Zoom has been their app. And for a lack of a better phrase, what I call the App Store. Now you have apps that operate not on your computer per se, but within the actual Zoom world, if you would, on the actual app. And so what does that mean? I'm going to show it to you just 1 second. But what I recommend you do, you launch your Zoom, and then you click on this right here, apps, which is where you see now. Whiteboard is also very important. It's just like a whiteboard. You draw and then you scribble on it. You show people how life insurance and here and what I do all the time is the T. Here's your 401k on the left. Here's the IUL on the right. Over here, taxable here, not taxable, blah blah, whatever the case might be. But the apps is what I really wanted to talk to you about because it also solves an issue that a lot of people are having. When you click on the apps, like you see right here, you'll have two main options. One of them is My Apps, which will open up the apps you have downloaded onto your platform. And what's really nice about this is that it will actually follow you from device to device, which is pretty cool. And I'm not going to get into the apps, but they all do wonderful things. Some you just don't need, and some you must have. I'll give you an example. You could go to virtual backgrounds, which is the one on the bottom. There's actually several of them that do the virtual backgrounds, and you can download for free. Most of these things are free. Some of them do have a price. Obviously, they're not going to do it just out of the kindness of their heart. But the point that I'm making is that you can come in here and immediately click on virtual backgrounds and download either live, like video backgrounds. It makes it look like there's people moving around behind you and stuff like that. If that's what you want to project to somebody, you're in an office, or just images. And most of them are free. And of course, you'll also find a lot like what you see here with this person on the screen. It's the AI business card. And it's literally just your business card with your logo. So if you're talking about FFS, you have an FFS background. If you're doing it as a National Life Group consultant, as National Life Group. If you're doing it as an LSW, which is what I use a lot in the schools, they know me as LSW. I throw up the LSW or my nonprofit for our kids. And so the point that I'm making is that it does make it a lot easier, not just put your contact info up there, but also make you look that much more professional. And that's what I'm talking about, selling more life insurance. With Zoom, we have to make up for the things we lose for in-person sale calls. One of them being, I can't interact with you. I can't give you my business card. I can't shake your hand. I can't look you eye to eye like we do in person. It's just not the same. We lose all that. But there are ways to make up for it, or at least partially make up for it, and increase your chances of closing the deal. Now, one thing that I will tell you that for me, it's kind of like a pet peeve, is I don't want anybody on my team to continue to create or commit identity theft because you don't know how to get other people to sign on your screen. Most of what we do is virtual, and there's an answer to that. I was actually speaking with two people this past week who have been doing that, and I told them you really need to be careful. Technically, if you're face to face, what that means is you hand them the computer and they click on the little I accept, I agree box or whatever the case might be, the virtual signature. If you're doing that for them, you're committing identity theft, you're committing fraud, and you're opening up yourself to a ton of legal issues that it's very easy to resolve. However, technology can help you. Let me give you an example of what I mean. One of the two couldn't get their system going. You know, what I showed them was this. When somebody first logs in, like you guys did right now, it'll usually show you the video or a camera of whoever's hosting the event. Or like in this example, it just tells you, click here because we're recording it. Once you do that, which is the got it box, which everybody has to click on in order to acknowledge that it's being recorded, always do that. That way you can get your people to, you can document everything you've done with your clients. Then it takes you into the actual dashboard. Now, this is the dashboard. What you need to do once you are here is click on share screen. Now, most people say, well, duh, that's what I do. But one thing people don't know they should do, or they have to, is they have to make sure that before you select. Now, let me ask you a question. When it pops up like this, what box do you select? Anybody? Most people would tell me, well, the one that I'm sharing. The one that says Microsoft PowerPoint. I mean, which box do you guys check? Anybody?
Yeah, that's the one, the PowerPoint one.
Yeah, the PowerPoint one. Okay, that's a good answer. Right? Anybody else? Anybody? All right. Well, we're not going to take too long. And the answer is, if I choose the PowerPoint, it will take me to and share only the PowerPoint. So if you don't want anybody to see anything else on your screen, you're right. That's the one to do. The way I do it. And again, it's not the only way, but in my opinion, I think it's a good way, is I personally always select desktop one. And when you select desktop 1, what happens is now it's showing whatever is on your screen. And it's because of that it will allow me to real quickly go from here to here to here to here without having to do anything. So what you want to always do is either like Bob said, PowerPoint, if that's what you're going to share with them, but that's all you're going to share with them. I don't do that because what I do, I always select desktop 1 because as I'm showing them their illustration, I go, hold on, let me go over here. And so let's just say I'm showing them a PowerPoint. What I do is I log into my own LSW or National Life account as a client. And I show them, look, here's one of my IULs. Here's my grandkids' IULs. Here's this. And I'm bouncing all over the place. So if all you're going to do is show and share the PowerPoint, you're right. Just click on that. But if I click on, let's just say PowerPoint, and then I say, I want to show you something on the browser, what I have to do, I have to click on the New Share button at the top, the green one, New Share. And when I click on New Share, then I will select the browser. Then they can see only my browser, no longer the PowerPoint. And then when I want to say, let's go back to the PowerPoint, I click on New Share again. And when I click on New Share, guess what? It takes me back to this screen. I select what I want to share. But if I select desktop 1, it just simply shows everything. Now, people tell me, well, what if I have something inappropriate or I don't want? Well, don't have it. I have a lot of stuff on my desktop right now. What I have done, I minimized it. I minimized it to the point that you can't see it. It's all down here. It's all down here. Minimize. You can't see any of that. So there's nothing for me to be afraid of. First of all, you shouldn't have anything inappropriate. Pretty stupid if you have, something dirty. I'm talking about, I just got other stuff I don't need you guys to see because I don't want to distract you or whatever. But again, when you go back to the PowerPoint, it will allow you to go anywhere within your computer. So both answers are right. Desktop 1 shares everything, and there are times when maybe you don't want to share everything. Desktop on the or the specific window will share one at a time. Now, also, if you look on the right-hand side, you see a bunch of little squares that are called tiles. The reason you see it now, because this is a screenshot. First of all, I want to make sure you can see my PowerPoint. I mean, can you guys see the little tiles on the right, the little white boxes or different color boxes? Anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, it's an image, so you should see it. Because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see it because I'm the host. But what I'm saying here, a lot of the things that you can do here are things like countdown timers, counting up, counting down. And this is stuff that you need to do, especially when you have to go ahead and give people different time. If you're looking to do anything from going from, let's just say you're doing an annuity rollover versus a 401k rollover versus whatever the case might be, that's all you need to do. And if you don't understand the basics, let alone the advanced elements of Zoom, we need to make up for what we lost in the human element. And that's very important. I would say that probably 95% of our sales are done via Zoom. And when I'm in person with you, I can shake your hand, look you in the eye, smile, connect, and so on. But we can't do a lot of that stuff via Zoom. So that's why these little things seem like a little deal, but they're really a big deal. Also, if you look on the lower left-hand side, you will see where it says share sound. Let me see if right there, where the little red arrow is. That's why these two people this past week, they couldn't, the client couldn't hear the video. So what you want to make sure you do, click on the share sound box first, and then you click on the share. And that's how all the sound is going to go through the actual Zoom platform versus you trying to play it through your speakers into your mic, which is going to sound very, very lousy. You don't want to do that. And this is exactly how you're going to do that. Now, once you have it up, if you notice here, what you're looking at is an actual screenshot of my actual webinar with my client. Now, if I want them to sign the documents, if you would, if I wanted to sign the documents, how can I get them to do that from this screen right here? Anybody? How? There's one thing wrong here. Anybody know? You don't want to commit identity theft. You don't want to go to the pokey just because you didn't know how to do something. And remember,
Make them the host.
I'm sorry?
Make them the host.
That's one thing, but there's one thing that it's kind of a trick question, to be honest with you. And as you can see here, let me move my bar because I have two bars. There you go. What you want to do here, it won't let you do it until you actually launch or share a screen. Once you do that, once you share, so in other words, I'm looking at my desktop here. Now you're right, you could do that, but the way to do it, because I'm telling you, we've had this happen. Every time you sign documents, the IP address is recorded. And there's nothing worse than you trying to explain how a client who's out of town, far from you, signed their documents when it was all done on just your computer. And you don't want to do that. So anyways, make a long story longer. Thank you so much, Stephen, for that. And you're right, you can do that. But here's the way you really want to do it. You want to first launch or share a screen. And once you do that, let me show you what happens. Once you launch your screen, one more option loads up on your bar. Who can tell me what that thing that just launched that wasn't there before is? Anybody? What is it? Come on. One thing. Okay, let me do it again. Before, after.
Remote control?
Yes. So now that that one popped up, when you click on it, the name of every person on your webinar is going to pop up. So you can't see, you can see that's an image. I'm clicking on mine right now, and the option I'm getting now, it says give mouse / here's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a screenshot. I'm going to do a screenshot of my live webinar. And so what I'm going to do now, can you guys, where are you guys? What do you guys see? What do you guys see?
Your screenshot with a drop down.
Okay, the screenshot, good. And the reason that I share with you the screenshot, first of all, because I'm sharing my desktop. So because you're sharing the desktop, every single thing that I'm doing, you get to see. I'm not hiding anything. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click on draw, and I'm going to go ahead and just highlight this part, which shows you everything. And so what does it say? Can anybody read that, please? I just want to make sure you can see it.
Give mouse keyboard controls.
Yes. And so if I click on Stephen, guess what? Now Stephen controls my mouse. And that's when he clicks on the I agree, I submit, I give permission, or whatever the hell they're agreeing to. And he can even click the I accept button. And now I just avoided committing fraud, but not signing on his behalf. And that's why it's very important for you to understand these, because this week, 2 people, for the love of God, couldn't understand why their remote control wasn't popping up. And so what I was asking him is, do you have a live webinar? Are you online with somebody? No. Well, then, of course, that right there was the main issue. Any questions from anybody? Because like I told you, it's going to be a short webinar today, but I want to make sure that we give you all the information that you need. Any questions from anybody?
Yeah.
Once you
Go ahead, Bob.
once you give that, let's say you gave that to me, and now I have access to the mouse and all that. Do you have access, or you lost your
Yes,
access?
we both have it at the same time.
Okay,
And
so
what
you
ends
have-
up happening as well, like right here, I'm going to go ahead and do another screenshot, which if you don't use screenshots or you don't know the shortcuts, you need to learn to do that, because I can share it with you in real time. Can you see the screenshot that says Bob Ann's highlighted, Bob?
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my real live one right here. You're not going to see it. You're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to click on Bob Ann's.
And
Now,
I just got something that says you can control the, I guess it's
If I-
telling me
okay.
access.
Yes, now move it around. Just wiggle it or damn thing around if you don't mind. And so the point that I'm making is that it says waiting for Bob Ann's. Here, let me show you this, because I want to walk you through every step here. Hold on. And so what I'm going to share now is I want you to see. Now, can you guys see where in the green bar where it says waiting for Bob Ann's to control your screen?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the next step. Now, I'm still waiting for Bob Ann's. Take it, Bob.
Well, I got it, but am I supposed to push button or something?
Well, it says it's still waiting for you, so you might want to just, okay, move it around. You will see, because it says it's still waiting for you. Let me do this. Hold on. Now, it says Bob Ann's. Now, if I click on it right here, waiting for Bob Ann's to see your screen, to share, I'm sorry, to control your screen, you haven't done it yet for whatever reason. The point that I'm making is at any time, I'm still controlling it on my end. And also, I can come in here, and I don't know if you guys can't see it, but let me just show you this screenshot again and what it shows now. Now, it shows Bob with the check mark next to his name, but what does it say in red? Anybody?
Stop remote control.
That's it. And so if I come in here and I click on here, here, I just stopped the sharing on purpose because I wanted to bring it up on the full screen. But what I'm going to go back over here and to show you. So what I'm going to do is let's see participants. Okay, there you go. Remote control. So I'm going to, let's just say, give it to Stephen. Stephen, if you can accept it, please, if you don't mind. And just move it around if you get a chance. Okay, Stephen, did you do it? It's just waiting for. It's still waiting. You have
I
to.
have no notification on my end.
All right, let's try somebody else. Let's see. We're 0 for 2, man. Let's go with who's the tech savviest guy around? Let's see. Oh, no. Damn, nobody. Hold on. Okay, let's try Kathy. Let's see. Kathy, can you
What do you need me to do?
just accept it? You have to hit OK to control. Does it say anything on your screen?
Where does it pop up
Yeah,
on
there
here?
you go.
Because nothing
Yeah.
pops up.
There you go. She has it now. It says, Kathy, here, let me just take a screenshot of this. It was saying waiting like it did last time, but I'm going to show you my screen right now. We both have control. Now, do you see where it says the smaller one? Do you see where it says is controlling? Kathy, do you guys see that?
Yeah.
It says Kathy is controlling your screen. Now, I took control from her. I did that. And so, okay, it's waiting. So what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, Kathy, one more time, hold on. Let me do this over here. If you could do it one more time, please, Kathy, the way you did it earlier. There you go. It's now just wiggle the thing around and just click on the mouse and see if it slides. I think I'm on the PowerPoint still. I think this is the PowerPoint. There you go. That's her moving it around. There you go. Okay, that's it. She's moving it. So I would just simply, at this point, say, go down to the box where it says, I agree, please, and check off the box. Now go down. Now it doesn't say that, of course. Okay, you would just click on that. Okay, now go down where it says submit. Kathy, congratulations, your application is submitted. We're good to go. What I'm going to do now, Kathy, is let me go ahead. I'm going to take control once again. And so I'm going to go ahead and immediately I'm taking control of the mouse remotely. No felonies were committed. Nobody has to go to jail, and life is good. And so, because I also do one thing that most people don't do, I almost record all my presentations. If there's ever an issue, bam, I've got the video showing how it went down as well. And life is good. Because remember, when somebody, especially if it's a rollover, if it's this, I've seen people roll money out of accounts and unscramble an egg because they cried fraud. And once somebody cries fraud, every single company on earth will do everything they can to resolve it as quickly as possible. And most of the time, the most disposable element of business is you. So you want to make sure you protect yourself, because they'll tell you, I'm so sorry. However, it is what it is as well. And so anyways, well, like I said, this is the kind of stuff that will make you more productive. It will help you generate more sales. It will make you more money. You will stay within compliance. And more than anything, it makes it more fun, especially when we're talking about the apps on the right-hand side that will truly allow you to enhance the experience that you bring to your clients. Your stock as an individual, as an advisor, goes up. And ultimately, what we want to do is live off referrals, which is a lot easier to do when you're not just simply delivering, but over-delivering on the experience of the sales. Any questions from anybody about anything before we wrap it up?
Yeah, quick question, Javier. So I just did a North American app, and they split it up into two parts. The first part you run through with the client, but then they send the second part direct to the client. So the first part, we're electronically signing together, but the second part, they're doing it directly. Is that covering us at all in that scenario?
And in that scenario, you're 100% covered, because it went to them and it will be timestamped with their own IP address. Now, I want to make sure we understand one thing. The risk is not that we want to do everything with them or in front of us. We want to make the process as simple for them. So thankfully, they've gotten a lot better. I mean, we've been doing electronic signatures since they first rolled out. We used to do paper ones. And what I mean by now, the process is getting a lot easier for the client. The reason I like to watch clients sign stuff, number one, so I know it got done. Number two, to make sure it got done right. And I will tell you that, especially if you're dealing with rollovers, you're dealing with older people, their patience is very, very short. And so what I try to do is, in that scenario, let's just say it's you. And so you're like, Javier, I got an email that I got to sign it. Do I sign it? Yes, you should. But here's what I want to do. What I'm going to do, Stephen, is let's get on a Zoom real quick and I'll walk you through it to make it that much easier for you. Once we get on my webinar, I'm controlling it. I simply choose Stephen, make you the co-host, and then you share your screen as well. And I'm watching you as you go through the motions of everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I didn't realize that North American breaks up that app. So when
Yes.
he got the second part, I asked him, let's go through it together. It's easier that way, but I didn't give him the control. He
Sure.
controlled it. I just viewed it and then he
Yes,
signed it.
that's it. In that scenario, all you do is view it. Congratulations, Stephen. That's exactly what we're talking about. Make life easier for your clients, more likely for you to generate the referrals as well.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. Anybody else? Any thoughts, questions, issues like he has or he's had that anybody wants to share? Anybody? I've only seen it happen 2 times when they go as deep as checking the IP addresses, and it didn't end good on both scenarios because the client was in a different county, and they were like, "How did the client sign it when he's in a different county?" And in both circumstances, the client got all their money back. They unscrambled that egg as hard as it was, and it wasn't good for the agent. So just watch out. I think the key thing that they look for when we start to talk about filing charges and stuff like that is when it's the intention. I was just trying to cut corners, one thing, but when they feel that you were trying to defraud somebody, then that's a whole different world we don't want to get into. Any questions, comments, concerns from anybody about anything?
Yeah, Javier, this is George.
Go ahead.
One of the things I saw that was really cool, I was on somebody else's Zoom room on there, and they were actually show how you see the panels of the people that are on the Zoom call. They would actually had a virtual background where they would be sitting like in an auditorium, like a student auditorium, or they'd be sitting around the table and everybody's image was around the table. Is there a certain app for that? I didn't get a chance to ask them. Is there an app that actually will place everybody's image in a setting like that?
The answer is yes. I've seen it done multiple ways. And the best thing to do is Google, it's called the audience. It's like if you look at your view right here, when you go into it, there's the speaker, the gallery. That's what you want to do. That's what it's called. And when you click, even now, remember, one of the things you can do, you can go to the upper right-hand corner where it says view and click on, let's just say gallery. And if you do gallery, where you're going to see everybody, but it gives you that as the background as well. So just Google Zoom gallery background, and it just simply plugs it in like that as well. There's a lot of cool stuff. And so my recommendation to everybody is to go to the App Store, like I just showed you how to do it. And if you need to learn how to get to the App Store, again, just watch the video. We're going to upload this one to YouTube on our channel later today. And it just makes the experience thank you for bringing that up, because obviously it's a freaking Zoom meeting, and it impacted George to the point that he said, damn. And here's what you want. You want people to say, damn, this guy knows what he's talking about, man. Well, maybe you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You just know this one little part. That's why I'm keeping it short and simple. If you just do this, not let alone that you can actually come in here and like the way I do it, I don't care because I'm actually in a hotel right now, but you can come in here and do something as simple as blur my background, where now it's blurry. That's important when we're talking about being at home. And people ask me, so what's your take? Real background, virtual background? And then my question is your house clean or is it messy as hell? Because I've seen some embarrassing ass webinars where people's houses just literally, how on earth can you show that? And I mean, and it's true. And so the question is, if you have a nice, as a matter of fact, one thing I'm doing is I'm changing my quote studio. I have a spare bedroom that I don't even work out of because I usually work out of my couch. But when I have a webinar, I run to that bedroom. I actually just ordered one of those rising or standing desks, that goes up and down, and it has a laptop stand, which makes it higher. Because like right now, you're kind of looking up at me, and in a perfect world, which we're going to talk about later, this is the way you want to see it, more like eye level, and the background does come into play. And so we're going to talk about more things like that. I'm just in the public, and that's with me moving, because it had me, if I sit down the way this place is designed, it's not going to give you you're going to see like my double, triple chins and, all this other crap. I mean, that's not going to help you out. And so you want to make sure.
We're looking at the ceiling.
Exactly. And it does happen. I don't know if you've ever been on a webinar and all you see is somebody's stupid ceiling fan going, woo, 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 woo. It just goes like, damn, you get dizzy. And so the point that I'm making is you want to make sure you do everything that you can to give you that advantage to come across as a true professional, which is what you are, to help you close the deal, and most importantly, work on referrals as well. Anything else from anybody? Anybody? Okay. Well, I'm not going to make this longer. I just want to say thank you for your time this morning. I hope you found it worthwhile. And like I said, the people that keep bugging me about this, we're not even here today. So we'll just leave it as it is what it is. No big deal. I just want to
I was one of the guys that asked you to do it.
yeah, but there's a few others that keep bugging me every other day. But no worries. Well, Bob, thank you, and thank everybody else that's here. And remember, get your people to make sure that they plug in as much as they can. Things have a lot of things going on, and I understand that, and I respect that. But we want to simplify our lives. So let people come to you during the week, say, hey, what did I miss on the Zoom? Or how can I do this? Just send them to the recording on the YouTube video, and we'll take it from there. All right? Everybody have a great weekend. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate all that you do, and look forward to seeing you next Saturday, because we do have on the 24th, Michael Harding coming in. It's some really heavy hitting information in regards to businesses. And so I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'll just look forward to seeing you next Saturday.
Hey, Javier, before you close it out, I just want to remind people that I'm going to have my webinar again this coming Monday. One of the things which kind of goes in line with what you're talking about, is basically meeting with people. If you're in person, we're going back to the original scripts that we've done in the past. So we're going to review that kind of as a refresher, because we've been doing virtual meetings for so long with, as you know, the closing ratio has been down. And then we started doing the in-person meetings, and it's amazing with the closing ratio. Literally 2 clients, we were able to close pretty much off of one meeting, even though we had to come back another day to actually get the physical signatures, because we're writing that. So just want to remind everybody that Monday morning, 10 a.m., I'll have that. I'm going to review the scripts that we've done in the past, and hopefully it helps everybody out as for those that choose to do more in-person meetings.
Perfect. Thank you, George. And lastly, who here got the text message this morning, the text alert regarding this webinar? I didn't get it. Anybody else get it?
Yeah, Javier, I sent you a screenshot. It came in at 9:15.
Oh my
So I don't
God.
know if so I don't know if it's a time thing or what, but yeah, it came in at 9:15.
No, Lord, let me see.
Did not get anything.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And I'm looking at okay, George, I got yours right here.
I didn't get anything either.
I didn't get anything. So, all right, we'll take a look at it. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Great weekend.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.